Welcome to another video. For the case study of sectioning a product, I will make use of the GoPro Karma. I will put the link in the download so you can follow along if you want to. So I already have the model open over here. So the step file, you can drag and drop that and CATIA will convert it within a CATIA product. Within assembly design, we can enable sectioning. So we can find that at the bottom of the toolbar. And by default, if I will click on section, we're going to see that the main window will be minimized, and we're going to also have another view over here. If I will slightly move the view, we're going to see that this will be named section 1. Now, I encourage you to arrange both the initial 3D view of the CATIA product and also the section. If you want to do that rapidly, you can tile them vertically. And we're going to have them like this. So over here we're going to have the section, and to the left we're going to have the section definition. Now we're going to go through all the settings available over here, and we see within the section definition we can add a name. By default they will be called sections 1, 2, 3 and so on, just like for any part, extrude, pad or anything related to CATIA or SolidWorks, because it uses the same naming convention with incremental naming for each feature. And by default we have the section plane enabled over here, and as we can see within the viewport, if I will move my mouse within the interior of that preview plane, I have the possibility to change the section position. And we're also going to see a live update over here to the right. If for some reason the live update is not working, you can go over here on behavior and you can enable that to automatic update. But in my case it's set to manual update, and we have that real-time preview. Okay, so some other settings that we can change over here. If you don't want to move the position like this with the mouse, so with the drag and drop feature, we have the possibility to go to positioning, and we're gonna see that we can define the axis. In this case this is for the X, this will be for the Y, so according to the compass of the part. And again, I can move that plane up and down, or I can go on the Z axis, which in this case will be like this. We can also go with geometrical target, and in this case we're going to need to go on the part, and we're going to see a normal to plane to various components. So for example, if I would like to do a sectioning over here for the propeller, we're going to see that section updated over here. Now, since this is not fully aligned, we can further have that align, because we're going to see that that section will look a little bit off like this. We can also use the positioning by 2 or 3 elements. In this case we can select, so we mostly need to define a plane, therefore I can add 3 points, for example, so 1 point over there, 1 point over there, and if I want to have that top plane I can choose another plane over there. And now we're gonna have that plane defined. Or we can go with this selection, so I can select an axis and afterwards I can select a point, and we're gonna have that plane defined by that axis and the point. Keep in mind, just like with plane definition, you won't be able to use, for example, 2 lines. As we can see, that selection is not currently available because that won't define any plane. But if I will go for a point, we're gonna see that we can have that defined. If I will try to select a small edge, we're gonna see that we should select a line that is coplanar with the previous selection. So keep that in mind. So it's usually a best practice to make use of points in this case, because you will rapidly position the section like that. Now, if you want to fill the section view, you can always go over here to fit all in, and we're gonna have everything fitted. As you can see, we will have some more space at the top. That is because according to the section, maybe in some cases we're gonna have some elements over there, but as the model is aligned, we're gonna see that this will be the camera, the gimbal, and the drone, so it won't be that the case. So we can just manually zoom in over here a little bit. We can also choose to invert the normal, so that will give us the other view, so the other side, as we can see over here. And we can always go back to reset position, and that will give us the initial plane. So in this case, this will be for the X, for the Y, and for the Z axis. And every time you're going to click on reset position, it will go back to the first direction, in this case X. We can also adjust the rotation over here directly within the viewport, but if you consider that you don't have enough precision like this, you can add values, so parametric values. I'm gonna have this resetted, and afterwards I will open this edit position and dimensions, and we're gonna see we're gonna have the origin, and we can do translation. So this will be +10 on the U-axis. That will increase the plane position on this axis. We can go vertical, minus and plus, and also like this, so on the W axis. You can change the, let's say, the increment over here is currently set to 100, and we can do the same for the rotation. If I want, I can just add over here 5 degrees, and I can have this rotated 5 degrees each time I will click that. We can also go within the result options over here within the section definition, and we're gonna see that we can also enable clash detection. And as soon as I will enable clash detection, we're gonna see that we will have a red circle. If I'm gonna zoom into that circle, we're gonna see that there are some clashes. So as you can see, these components have not been perfectly fitted, and all the areas colored in red will be overlapped for various clashes. The same problem will happen over here at the gimbal. As you can see over here, this is well, let's say, positioned. It doesn't have any collisions, but over here we have the collision over there. It's also not centered, so the screw is not centered, and the screw is longer than the overall clearance that we have over here. So keep that in mind, that clash detection can be done directly within section, and this is really helpful. We also have a separate clash. We're going to talk about that within a different video. We can also enable the section view. So by default, the section will look like this, so only the outline of those. It's usually a good idea to keep it with field selection in order to better visualize those components. Also, they will have the same color as within the large assembly. As we can see, the gimbal is colored in black, the camera is gray, and those will be maintained over here. We can also change the grid. So we can firstly enable the grid using the grid option, and if you want to, we can change the grid over here. So this is by default set to absolute values. We can go to relative values, and that will take into account the origin of our assembly, which is positioned over here within 0, 0, 0. We can also change the style from lines to cross, and we can do also filtering over here if you will enable this. We can change the value to something like 50 millimeters, and we're gonna have that filtered. By default, the value is set to 100, as we can see over here. Another aspect that can be done, we can have this exported. So we have this button for the section, export as, and we're going to have the possibility to save this either as a CAD part, a CAD drawing, so these are again for CATIA only files, or we can go for something more general like a DXF, IGS, step file. These are, let's say, the most common. And within the behavior we can have the manual update, and section freeze. And keep in mind that all these are only regarding, let's say, the first section plane. If we are going to go back to the definition, we can change this from section slice. And the main difference of a section slice is that we're going to have two planes, and we can have those reposition. And as we can see, within the section view, we're going to have the information from both of those sectioning elements. I'm just going to hide the grid for now. I'm going to go back to definition. And as we can see, this will be that section, so position over the propellers. This one, the first one, is not positioned over the propellers, but at the same time we're gonna see the propeller section over here. So the top one and the bottom one. And we can also adjust the middle plane. So this is, let's say, an overlap between two sections. As you can see, if I will move this, this will be the section from the middle of the drone, and if I'm gonna overlap this secondary plane, that will also be overlapped within the same section. We can also go with section box, so this will be quite similar. As we can see, by default the output of the section box will be the same, just like those two planes, and the newly defined box will be defined by those exactly two planes, and we can further adjust that. So either the length, or we can change this. So these are quite, let's say, similar to that, to the previous sectioning. And what is most, let's say, the most used sectioning view is called the volume cut. And as you can see, with the volume cut, I'm going to go with position and have this resetted. The volume cut will also trim the model within the viewport, as we can see. This will be section 1, and keep in mind that you can also combine sections. So if I will press OK, this will define the first section, which will be over here, section 1, and I have the possibility to apply a new section. In this case, again, I want to define a volume cut. For the positioning, I will choose this, for example, on the y-axis, or I can go again with the x-axis and only have this slightly rotated. So I will rotate this on this axis. Afterwards, I will click OK. And now we're going to see that within the viewport, we're going to have those two sections overlapped. I will maximize this view now. And we have some options on each section. With the mouse on top of that, we can go to section object at the bottom, and we can do activate or deactivate the section cut. So in this case, if I will have those deactivated, again the whole drone will appear. We still see the sectioning over here, and if I will move my mouse on top of that, we're gonna see exactly the outline of that section. So that projected sketch that we obtained. If you want to open that separately, you can have that over here. If you will go to section 1 object, you can go export the section. For example, this will be section 1, and I will save this as a cut part. If I want to open that section 1, let me rapidly open that. So I will drag and drop it from the desktop. This will be section 1. Have it drag and dropped over here. We're gonna see the positioning will be like this. So I can go to fit everything. And if I want to change, for example, within Sketch 2, I would like to double click on that. We are gonna be, let's say, moved to the Sketcher workbench. And over here within the Sketcher workbench, we can start to do some, let's say, changes or measurement. Keep in mind that by default, if you're just gonna go with a constraint like this, you won't be able to do anything. That is because this has to be exploded. So just like within AutoCAD, this is a polyline, as we can see over here, and we will need to have this exploded. After the polyline was exploded, it will be recreated from multiple elements. And now we have the possibility to go over here and do some measurements. For example, between this line all the way to that point, we will have the following dimension. And so on. As you can see, within various ranges within the zoom, the arc was exploded, so that means it will be created from multiple smaller sections. So it's usually a good practice to have those retraced if you want to analyze something within a section like this. I will go back to the view over here. Let's see some other elements that haven't been discussed. We can also, if I will go to tile them like this vertically, we can also have the possibility to activate or deactivate the section fill. So as we can see over here within that viewport, we can have those enabled or disabled. And we can also hide the plane representation. So by default, the plane representation is like this. It will be hidden when we're gonna press that section to be activated. And if we want to see that plane, we need to hide it again. So in this case, to show it by going over here to hide and show. Okay, so that's pretty much the aspects regarding CATIA sectioning. Now, I will also, I have over here open, this is CATIA Composer. So as we can see within CATIA Composer, we have the same possibility to do various sectioning, but the main advantage is that this is more, let's say, interesting. And I will decide to make another video regarding sectioning within CATIA Composer as well. So if you like this content, I will position something similar over here to the left and a subscribe button to the right. So consider to subscribe if you enjoy this content. Thanks for watching.